The biggest hit Desi music show for your Saturday night. It's Desi Mashup with Akshay.
So he's a producer and singer who is killing it on the scene with his beats and now most recently with his vocals. Now he's originally from Australia. He's now in Mumbai. And I'm so glad to have him up on the show. Give it up and show some love for a man like Denny.
What up? I like that intro.
Hey man,
it was quite. Man, I feel embarrassed. I was like in a boxing match or something.
Listen, it's your first time up on the show, right? You know, I had to show you some love, bro, man. But how are you, man?
Thank you. I'm good. It's been 5 years in Mumbai. It's good. It's starting to get really hot here right now. But we're good. The first song did well. Second song's just come out called Attention. So, man, it's been good. It's been a good run.
You know what, right? It's the first time for you up on my show, right? Now, I'm curious, and I know the fans and I know the listeners are curious as well, right? You know, how does a guy from Australia wind up in Mumbai? So, you know what? Let's take it back, all right? Let's take it back. Just talk to me about your humble beginnings in this music game, man. How did it all start for you and the whole move from Australia to Mumbai, man? Talk to me.
So I was actually born in UK and born in Stratford-upon-Avon, believe it or not. So I was born in Stratford-upon-Avon and my family migrated to Australia in the mid-90s. And Perth, I like to give a shout out to Perth. It's the most isolated city in the world, by the way. So I was raised in Perth and the music kind of bug hit me when I was like in school. And I started just randomly making songs, like I didn't know what I was doing. And after probably about 10 years of writing songs, I got my first management deal with a friend of mine called Rob Agostini. So shout out to Rob. And me and him made like a producer-writer combination called The Opposite Kids. And we got management out in New York called Primary Wave. So Primary Wave are like America's largest independent publisher. In that time, we did a song with Dido and some, big acts that never got released. I was in that time, I was DJing. And for all the artists that were coming down, like your Guru Randhawas and Raftars and whoever else, Mika and all that, they would come down and I would end up DJing at their shows and after parties. And they would always say, bro, you play so well, you should come to India and make music. And in 2017, I just thought, all right, let's give this a shot. So I came out here and I just made a few official Bollywood remixes. And that hustle was for another day, how I got there, but we'll go over time. But that's a story for another day. But I ended up being fortunate enough to have a couple of official remixes. I did a remix for Zalima, which was released by Z Music, Notion Rivals, Tera Zikr, which is on Sony, and then Tere Sangyara, and a couple of others. So they came out, and most people then started saying, man, you compose really well. Why don't you start making songs originally? But the way you make Indian songs, the way you make a Western song are very different, right? It's challenging, but it's super, how do I put it? You learn a lot out here, and and I have learned a lot. So the last 5 years have been my kind of time. I've seen the opportunity and, people are enjoying what I bring to the table in sessions and the songs that I've done. I think it's just one of those things that what I've been told from everyone out here is, Mumbai will either suck you in or spit you back out. So I think I've been sucked in. So here I am. I was supposed to only come here for 3 months, believe it or not, and I've been here for 5 years. So that's how it's gone down.
Whoa, that's absolutely crazy, man. Crazy. So, bro, listen, you talked about all these remixes that you did, or, once you came to Mumbai, you did a lot of the original stuff as well. There was Thug Ranja for Akasa, Sonia for Rupin. Which do you find easier to tackle? Is it easier to tackle, an established song and then tweak it and give it the Denny refix, as it were, or an original composition? Which process do you find easier?
Good question, man. I think mainly for me, it's two different sides of the brain. When you're doing a remix, you're more restricted, right? Because there's a BPM, there's a certain zone, there's a certain feeling of a song, and you don't want to. Every song has a certain kind of feeling it gives a listener, right? And when you remix it, I hate those DJ or Sunil remixes, I do. It's like...
Listen, without breaking your flow, do you remember the Jankar Beats days?
Yeah, exactly right. It's just people putting just random stuff in it for no reason, and so for me, it was always about trying to put something in organically that fits and picking a different genre that song will sound good to. So it's a little bit more restrictive, but it's fun. But when you're making an original, there's no boundaries generally. But I think my go-to and my preferred thing is always making originals, bro. Simple answer. Should give you a simple answer. Just answer it in one line.
Now listen, from years and years and years of just, making the beats, right? You are now jumping on the beats. We're now hearing Denny on the tracks. Now, bro, talk to me about that transition from your thought process, from going, right, you know what? I'm gonna jump on the vocals, man.
Yeah, good question again, man. So I started off as an artist a long time ago, and then people said you're not really good as an artist, believe it or not. So then I just stepped to I kind of put that away, and I started just making songs for people. Excuse me. And then pretty much what happened after that was when I came to India, I started adding my vocals to things, and they found it interesting. So when I came to India, people found my vocal interesting. It still had a lot of work to do, and my pronunciation was very, very weak, because obviously being raised in a Western country is very different to being raised in India. So I had to work on my, obviously, singing and my pronunciation. But after I did that, and I think that just came with practice, it wasn't something that I actively did. It's just the more songs I made and the more I worked with lyricists and the more I just recorded my demos, people said, just keep it in your vocal. So it was like a natural progression, like I didn't force myself. And PAA K actually originally wasn't actually an English song that I'd made. And then when I played it out here, people were like, man, let's make this into Punjabi. And Sid, the lyricist of that, he was like, bro, I love this song. Can we make this into a Punjabi Hindi song? I said, sure, let's try it. So, and then I just ended up dubbing. Actually, believe it or not, it went to a very big Punjabi artist. I won't give the name, but they wanted it. It never happened. And then a couple of films wanted it. It didn't happen because of COVID. So then it was just sitting there. From 2019, I made this song. And I just thought, you know what, now's the time to drop it. So I dropped it, and I just kept the original vocal on it. It wasn't like one of those, it wasn't an active thing. But yeah, it's been nervous because coming on screen and all the rest of it is totally doing radio interviews with DJ Akshay, Patel in Leicester Rose is a very different thing to hiding behind my computer, you know what I mean? So before, I could just wear my gym clothes and make music, and now I've got to do my hair before I do anything. So it's one of those things, man. It's been fun though, and it's something that I've always wanted to do, so I can't lie, I'm enjoying it.
And you know what, before I move on, man, we want to know, PAA K, man, what is that? What is PAA K? Give us an explanation. What is PAA K?
Okay, so PAA K is like after you drink, right? So Nikalta hai pyar PAA K is like after you drink, you show me love. So the whole concept of this song was I was sitting with Sid, and he's like, bro, what should we write about? I really want to write it. What should we write about? And I said to him, bro, I'm from Australia, and everyone in India, especially the men, are really, really straightforward and really serious most of the time, right? Unless you're in that clique. And I said, but when they drink, it's like, I love you, Baba, I love you, Baba, I love you, come here, I love you, bro. And I thought, why is it after the drink that everyone's so free? So he was like, bro, I've got this hook called PAA K. So can we use that hook? So I was like, da-da-da-da-da-da, PAA K. And I was like, bro, that's cool. And he goes, what do we put before that? And I said, well, like, why do you show me love? So he was like, Nikalta hai pyar people. Let's keep it simple. And then it was just Nikalta hai pyar PAA K. And then it was like, why don't we make it so when he goes home, like he forgets, because he wakes up and he forgets that he's shown love because he becomes sober. He becomes like rigid and uptight. So then it was Phir bhul jata hai ghar jaake. So then he forgets when he goes home. So that's what she says. And then the guy responds, says, no, I don't do that. So it's just a bit of fun and a bit of playfulness.
Love it, man. Love it. If we didn't know, we definitely know now. Denny, thank you for that explanation, man. And this brings us to the new one that dropped a few weeks back, man. Attention. As I said, you know what? It's got everyone's attention. It is, again, it's just another such a fun, vibey pop song, man. Do you know what I mean? You and Mandy Gill on the vocals on this one, man. Talk to me how this track was born.
So I put a reel out. So on my Instagram, listen to Denny, whoever's following me wants to follow me. I put a reel out, and I made the idea. I was in the kitchen, and I just like, girl, I want your attention, girl, I need your attention. So it was like that kind of idea that I just had singing in the chorus. because there's about 1,000 attention songs, right? And I think I was probably listening to one of those attention songs, so that's why that hook came into my head at that point in time. So don't worry, I wasn't trying to create something original or anything for people that go, why did he call the song Attention? But yeah, it was just one of those things that I couldn't replace that word. It was just sitting so well. And then I developed it, and it was more of a Hindi kind of pop song. And then it was just a bit slow and it was losing pace. So then I flipped it and I was like, what if we went hardcore Punjabi on it? And Mandy and I had worked together like a year and a half before that. And then I called him and I said, hey man, like I've got this idea. Like, do you want to come down and try to write something? So he came down. He was kind enough to come that day. And he just literally wrote it and just recorded the demo vocals. And then I wanted to try sing the whole song. But then I didn't have that full Punjabi flavor, that rawness, you know, like, and it was just like, nah, bro, this ain't working. I was just like, Mandy, let's just keep your vocal. He's like, sure, Paji. So I was like, done, bro. And it just, that's how it was. And everyone just loved the track. So I was like, this should be second. So again, there was no like genius kind of thinking strategy behind it. It was just the more people I played to, the more people that liked it. And it was just like, let's go with this one.
Well, you know what? The track is out, is getting a lot of love, man. You know, I've seen the streams, I've seen the views, man. What's the long game, man? Where do you want to take your music? Are we talking Bollywood? Are we talking, you know, mainstream? Where? What's the plan, man? What's the game plan?
So I'm working on a couple of films. I did a small film with Vishesh Films. They set up a new company called Baba Boom. So Vishesh Films, obviously part of Ashiki and the Putts, and pretty much the greatest music that India's produced in terms of Bollywood. There's a few things in the works genuinely. So film is definitely something I would like to do. But yeah, man, I think the idea is to consistently release music. And there's no barrier, there's no walls, there's no I want to reach here. What's in for me is there. I naturally make commercial music. It's not something that I try to do. So I make a lot of different types of music, as you'll see probably next time we speak. You'll be like, man, you went from there to that. Yeah. So the next one's more of it's a totally indie EP that's coming out after this, with Shefali Alvarez, who was part of Badtameez Dil, and Subha Honin are there, and she's a great friend. And so we've got this EP coming out next month, but it's very indie and electronic. So a very niche type thing. And then after that, it's like 3 sad Bollywood love songs, you know, which I'm a music director on, and I've composed with 3 different artists. So, you know, there's a whole variety of music, and wherever that takes me and wherever that goes, I'm up for it, man. I just, as big and great as it can be, I'm there.
Bro, listen, keep doing your thing, because we're loving everything that you're doing, and we can't wait for everything that you've got coming out for the rest of the year and beyond. We'll keep having you back up on the show 100%, my brother.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate your time. All the listeners, thank you so much for all the love that you've shown. I do hope to get to UK and do some performances. That's definitely on my agenda. So maybe in 2024 that can be possible. But thank you once again, man. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to do this again live, as we promised before. So the next one will be live.
There we go. And Denny, before we totally wrap things up, it's only right you introduce the new one.
All right, guys, you're listening to Sabras Radio, DJ Akshay Patel. You are tuned in right now. This is my latest song, Attention with Mandy Gill. Check it out right now.
It's Desi Mashup with Akshay.
Girl, I want your attention. Girl, I need your attention. Sonia, girl, I want your attention. Girl, I need your attention. Sonia, girl, I want your attention. Girl, I need your attention. Sonia, girl, I want your attention. Girl, I need your attention. Sonia. अखियां ने तेरी हिट करता बिलो अट के कलेजा बाहर तरता बिलो तुझी होने कोई गल बात ना रही सानू एक तेरे जोगा कर